The Piemonte region of northwest Italy has been transformed into a crystalline but chaotic landscape following a historic 48-hour period of relentless snowfall. A powerful Mediterranean low-pressure system, fueled by an influx of polar air from the Arctic, has dumped record-breaking amounts of snow across the Alps and the Po Valley, leaving infrastructure struggling and mountain communities isolated. The phenomenon began late Monday night when a cold front collided with moist air currents from the Ligurian Sea. This combination created a stow effect against the Alpine barrier, resulting in intense and continuous precipitation. In the provincial capital of Turin, Torino, residents woke up to a city muffled by over 30 centimeters of fresh powder, a sight rarely seen with such intensity in recent years. However, the true scale of the storm was felt in the higher altitudes. In the Susa and Lanzo Valleys, snow depths have reportedly exceeded 150 centimeters, nearly 5 feet, in less than 48 hours. The heavy, wet nature of the snow has wreaked havoc on the region's power grid and transport networks. The A32 motorway, which connects Turin to the Frejus Tunnel in France, was intermittently closed to heavy goods vehicles due to jackknifed trucks and visibility concerns. Local authorities have made winter tires or chains mandatory on all regional roads, with police checkpoints established at the base of major valleys. The railway line connecting Cuneo to Nice, the Tenda line, was suspended following several small landslides and trees falling onto the tracks. Trenitalia reported significant delays on the Turin-Milan high-speed line due to frozen switches. Enel Green Power reported that approximately 15,000 households in the Verbano-Cusio-Assola area were without electricity after heavy snow caused branches to snap onto medium-voltage lines. Emergency crews are currently working via snowmobiles to reach damaged pylons. The situation is most critical in high-altitude resorts like Sestriere, Bardonecchia, and Alagna Valsesia. While the snowfall is a blessing for the winter tourism industry, which has struggled with mild winters in the past, the sheer volume has created a logistical nightmare. The ARPA Piemonte, Regional Agency for Environmental Protection, has raised the avalanche danger level to 4 out of 5 high. The new snow layer is sitting on an unstable base of older, icy crust, said a spokesperson for the Alpine Rescue Service. Spontaneous large avalanches are highly likely, and we strongly advise backcountry skiers to stay within monitored resort boundaries. In some remote hamlets in the Cuneo province, the only way in or out is via helicopter, which has been grounded for much of the day due to low cloud cover. For the ski industry, this event ensures a long and prosperous season. Owners of hotels in the Via Lattea Milky Way ski circuit are optimistic. "We haven't seen snow like this since the early 2000s, says Marco Valenti, a local hotelier. "It's a lot of work to clear the paths, but for our business, it's white gold." Conversely, the agricultural sector is wary. While the snow provides a vital water reserve for the coming spring, helping to mitigate the drought conditions that have plagued the Po River, the weight of the snow has caused several greenhouses and agricultural sheds to collapse in the Lang wine region. The president of the Piemonte region has requested a state of emergency for the hardest-hit provinces. Over 1,200 volunteers from the Civil Protection, Protezione Civil, have been deployed, using snowplows and salt spreaders to keep primary arteries open. Our priority is ensuring that emergency services can reach vulnerable citizens, particularly the elderly in isolated mountain homes, the regional governor stated during a press briefing at the Operations Center in Turin. Meteorologists predict that the snowfall will begin to taper off by Thursday evening as the low-pressure system moves toward the Balkans. However, a sharp drop in temperature is expected to follow. Lows of -10 degrees Celsius 14 degrees Fahrenheit in Turin and -22 degrees Celsius -7.6 degrees Fahrenheit in the mountains are forecasted for Friday night, raising fears of widespread black ice on roads that have not been fully cleared. For now, the people of Piemonte remain in a state of watchful waiting, digging out from under a blanket of white that is as beautiful as it is dangerous. The Lanzo Valleys, Valle di Lanzo, a rugged alpine enclave north of Turin, are currently grappling with one of the most significant winter weather events in the last 3 decades. An relentless Arctic pulse has dumped staggering amounts of snow across the 3 primary valleys, Val Grande, Val di Alla, and Valle di Vaio, effectively cutting off several high-altitude hamlets and pushing emergency services to their absolute limits. The Lanzo Valleys, characterized by their narrow gorges and steep slopes, are uniquely susceptible to heavy precipitation when cold air from the north meets humid Mediterranean winds. Starting late Sunday evening, a stow effect, where moist air is forced upward by the mountains, cooling and condensing rapidly, triggered a continuous snowfall that did not break for 60 hours. In the village of Balme, located at the end of the Val di Alla at 1,432 meters, local weather stations recorded a total accumulation of 215 centimeters, 7 feet, of fresh snow. Similar figures were reported in Usseglio and Forno Alpi Graie, where the landscape has been transformed into an unrecognizable white wilderness. The sheer weight of the snow, which meteorologists describe as heavy and wet due to fluctuating temperatures near the freezing point, has caused widespread infrastructure failure. The Provincial Road 1, SP1, and SP2, the main arteries feeding the valleys, have been shut down past the town of Lanzo Torinese. Multiple spontaneous avalanches have spilled onto the tarmac, particularly in the stretches between Ceres and Alla di Stura. Heavy snow-laden branches have snapped onto power lines, leaving approximately 4,000 residents in the upper valleys without electricity or stable internet connections. Enel crews are working in grueling conditions, often forced to use snowshoes or tracked vehicles to reach damaged substations. In the hamlet of Margon, residents are reportedly trapped inside their homes, with snow blocking ground floor windows and doors. "We're digging tunnels just to get to the woodshed," said a local resident via a satellite phone patch. The ARPA Piemonte, Regional Agency for Environmental Protection, has taken the rare step of upgrading the avalanche risk to Grade 5 Extreme, the highest level on the European scale, for the Lanzo area. The instability is caused by the sandwich effect, a massive layer of new, heavy snow resting on a fragile, icy base formed during a brief thaw last week. The Mountain Rescue Service, Soccorso Alpino, has issued a stern warning. The mountains are currently a ticking time bomb. Do not attempt any off-piste activities, and even those in valley floors must remain vigilant for slides from the upper slopes. Despite the treacherous conditions, a massive relief effort is underway. The Protezione Civil Protection, has deployed specialized turbine snowblowers, massive machines capable of throwing tons of snow 30 meters away, to try and carve a path through the buried roads. Volunteers from the Red Cross are coordinating Operation Medicine, using snowmobiles to deliver essential supplies and medications to the elderly inhabitants of isolated farmsteads. In Mezzanile, the local gym has been converted into a temporary shelter for travelers who were stranded when the roads were first closed. While the snowfall is a logistical nightmare, it serves as a critical environmental lifeline. Piemonte has suffered from severe drought over the past 2 years, with the Po River reaching record lows. This white reservoir in the Lanzo Valleys will prove vital for the region's water security during the 2026 spring thaw. However, for local businesses, the timing is a double-edged sword. While the ski lifts in Usseglio Piedmont are theoretically ready for a record season, they cannot operate until the avalanche risk subsides and the roads are cleared. "It is white gold, but we are currently buried under too much of it," says a local ski resort manager. Temperatures in the Lanzo Valleys are expected to drop to minus 18 degrees Celsius 0 degrees Fahrenheit. This extreme cold will harden the snow, making clearance even more difficult as the powder turns to solid ice. The mayor of Lanzo Torinese has urged for calm but cautioned that normality is likely a week away. This is a reminder of the raw power of the Alps. We are a resilient people, but Mother Nature has reclaimed the valleys for the moment. Meanwhile, the Susa Valley, Val di Susa, the historic gateway between Italy and France, is currently facing a meteorological crisis of historic proportions. A powerful Genoa low-pressure system has funneled massive amounts of moisture into the narrow Alpine corridor, resulting in a 72-hour snow event that has buried international transport routes, isolated entire communes, and triggered the highest level of avalanche alerts. Starting on the evening of December 22, 2025, a polar air mass collided with warm, humid air from the Mediterranean. As these winds were forced upward by the towering peaks of the Cosian Alps, the moisture condensed into intense, unrelenting snowfall. This stow, orographic lift, effect was particularly concentrated in the upper Susa Valley, where towns like Bartonecchia, Susa Torinese, and Clavier reported snowfall rates of 10 to 15 centimeters per hour during the peak of the storm.